Each week, we're looking at new ways to get healthy, and joining me today are Ginny Hoyle, the Director of Communication and Outreach for United Way of Southeastern Idaho, and we also have Rick Pongratz, who's the Director of Idaho State University's Counseling and Testing. So thank you guys so much for being here today. We appreciate it. So first, let's talk about United Way recently conducted a community health assessment for Bannock County. So tell us about that assessment and kind of what we learned from that.
Thanks, Misty. Yes, we did a community health assessment specifically for Bannock County. This is through a grant-funded project called Get Healthy Idaho. And in that health assessment, we determined that 1 in 2 of those in Bannock County who are under the age of 50 are experiencing quite a bit to very much stress.
Okay. And Rick, let me ask you, what does that tell us about the state of mental health in our community and its effects on community members, that we have 1 in 2?
Yeah, that's really telling. And I think that we often throw the word stress around as sort of a, oh yes, I'm stressed, you're stressed, we have stress. But what we don't pay attention to is the effect that stress can have on our physical and our mental health. It disrupts our sleep, it weakens our immune system, it causes us to have high blood pressure, and be more susceptible to other things going wrong. And with our mental health, it makes us more susceptible to the more dangerous effects of anxiety and depression and suicidal ideation.
And what are some recommendations for people to kind of combat some of that stress, keep that stress level under a manageable, under control?
Yeah, that's a great question. First, we need to recognize it's there so that we can do something about it. And so that means taking the time to step away from a lot of the things we use to distract ourselves from anxiety or from things that are stressful or anxious or anxiety provoking, and spend time reflecting on where we are and work to get the support we need.
Okay, and then Ginny, going back to this assessment, it also gave us some data about like isolation and loneliness and how that plays into people's health in the community. What did we learn as far as that data?
That's right. So the health assessment is designed to determine the barriers to health, and isolation is one of them. And the health assessment determined that nearly 1 in 2 of those surveyed under 50 in Bannock County had fewer than 2 social interactions with family and friends over really each week.
Okay. And Rick, going back to you a little bit, it might sound pretty easy as something to combat, like, okay, just, talk to people more or something, but what are some ways that people can combat that and the isolation and the loneliness and get those factors?
Yeah, I think this is something that our whole community can take responsibility for. So for me as an individual, I can be aware if I'm isolating, that's going to make a lot of my health factors worse. And I can take that challenge and know that I'll be uncomfortable, and it's normal to be uncomfortable when doing new things, and meet someone and have a conversation. But then as a community, I need to look for those around me who maybe aren't having some of those contacts with others, even if they're different than me, and reach out and make connections with them.
Okay. And what are a few resources that people can go to learn more about, this assessment or ways to combat mental health illness in our community?
One of them is our project called findhelpidaho.org, and on that you can find quite a few resources that are free and reduced cost related to mental wellness.
Okay, excellent. Thank you guys so much for being here today. We appreciate you talking to us.